Hello and welcome back to another video. Today we're going to look at the ARC radars on the proposed recommended hardware, which consists of the Intel i5 9600K or the Ryzen 5 3600, 16GB of RAM, the RTX 2070 or the AMD Radeon RX 57XT, or the ARC B570 for the Intel, but we're going to test on the Intel ARC video. Welcome to Respawn PC. I'm Dunk. Let's game on. Quick disclaimer, the dev didn't list at what the settings or res or expected FPS for the recommended settings, hardware I mean. So we're going to play at 1080p, medium and high to reach 60 FPS and over. Starting off with the AMD side, we have the RX 5700 non-XT. I don't have the XT variant, so this will have to do. The Ryzen 5 3600 and 16GB of RAM. We are at 1080p. The footage that you see right now is at medium settings and FSR AA or native. And at medium settings, the GPU is not pegged at 99%. We are in the 90, sometimes dropping in high 80% of its position, using 3.3 to 4GB of VRAM, and the CPU is in the mid 80s% of its position. A bit too high. I think I have one or two core that is probably bottlenecking the GPU, making it not reaching or pegging at 99 or 100%. For RAM, we're using 13.7, which is perfect. And if you push the settings to high instead of medium, give some more strain on the GPU, maybe free some CPU utilization, it did well also. We get an average of 65 FPS with the GPU closer to 98-99% of its position, still at 4.2GB of VRAM, and the CPU utilization drop in the mid 70, still a bit high, but better. At least the time frame graph, it was smooth enough, it was highly playable. Switching to NVIDIA GPU and Intel CPU, we have the RTX 2070 and the i5 9600K. And again, we have a CPU bottleneck worse than the Ryzen 5 3600. The RTX 2070 is in the mid 80s to mid 90s, using 4.2GB of VRAM at 1080p medium settings and DLSS DLAA, but the CPU is in the high 90s. Most of the time. We at least get around 80 FPS average, but with the CPU bottleneck, we're leaving some performance on the table. If you crank the settings to high instead of medium, your average FPS will be in the 68, and the CPU utilization will still be quite high in the mid 80s% of its position, and the GPU is still not pegged at 99 or 100%. It is still highly playable. I didn't encounter a major starter, but keep in mind with the CPU, you are under a bottleneck. For the RAM, we were at 13.5 and 13 for medium and high settings. Quite acceptable since the requirement is 16GB. What did we learn from the proposed recommended hardware? That exactly like in the proposed minimum requirement, CPU intensive. The i5 9600K is not the proposed, should not be the proposed recommended hardware. The Ryzen 5 3600, it's limit, quite high on the CPU utilization, but we're going to see better when I test the real minimum requirement to play this game and find out what need to be done for the CPU bottleneck. Is it the number of core or the clock speed, the number of core versus thread? Because I have a viewer who said that he's playing on a Xeon X5675 6-core 12 thread with a GTX 970 and it play like a champ. So we're going to check out the core versus thread versus core speed. Thanks for watching, see you in the next one, and subscribe.